Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am Admiral Funko, and on today's video we are in the pop room and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on starting a collection, and if you want a collection my size, how to handle it. Now there's a reason why my voice cracks a little bit when I say a collection my size, because it is a painful road to have a collection this size. I will never advise you to have a collection this size, but if you want to, that is your choice. Now I have to put a quick disclaimer out there. The tips and tricks on what I tell you is how I would like to do it. I'm pretty sure there's going to be collectors out there who disagree, but this is what's worked for me in the past, and how you, if you're aiming to have a large collection, can plan ahead and manage it before you go literally insane like me. Before we get started on my tips and tricks, please, I know I'm gonna miss something. Please, 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 I really want to do a follow-up video to this tips and tricks videos. Put your questions in the comments below, because I want to answer your questions, and I know there's questions that are probably, you know, in your brain that are driving you nuts. I would love to do a follow-up video answering your guys' questions on organization, on collecting. If you want to know the type of screw I use to put these things in the wall, you know, I want to hear from you guys and I want to answer your guys' questions. So please, if you have any questions of stuff that I don't cover, questions on the collection, questions in general, please put them in the comments below. So let's get to the tips and tricks. But first, if you're new to my channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you would like to support me on multiple platforms, all the links are in the description below, from Patreon to Etsy, t-shirts, stickers, Instagram, Facebook, and then of course I have an affiliate link to Pop Shield Protectors, which if you're not protecting your collection, please do it. I am suffering at the end all game of it because I made the mistake of not protecting my collection, and it is very expensive to protect a 2,000 piece Funko Pop collection. It's about $3,000 with the cheapest pop protectors that I could find. So be warned, invest early when you have a small collection and then maintain. Alright, so I get a lot of questions and I get a lot of people saying that they want a collection my size. Of course, it breaks my heart to say it because there's been a lot of stress that's been put into this collection. This collection has been moved across the country 3 separate times and will probably be moved another 5 or 6 times, depending on the span of my career in the active duty military. I will not let the military move my collection. Granted, it is insured, but they will lose it and they will damage it. So I move my collection myself. So if you're thinking about starting a collection or you already have a collection, the first thing I'm going to say is collect what you like. There are a lot of people out there who ask me if this pop is worth buying, if they should buy this pop, is it going to be valuable? All these things that don't make sense to me, only in the aspect of I don't think versus value. Do I like my collection having value? Yes. Do I want to know how much my collection is worth? Yes. But I don't aim to have a pop just to have it for value. I aim it because I resonate with the character or I like the character a lot. My advice will always be, don't collect just to have, don't collect because a YouTuber told you that you need to have it, don't collect for value unless you want to collect for value. I think collectors are more happy when they collect what they like, because then when you have to flip it and turn it around and sell it or resell it, you're going to find that the value of that pop that you bought it at is really not worth anything anymore. Pops that come out today, in my mind, don't hold the same value as older pops do. Agree to disagree, but that's just my experience. Trying to resell pops is a pain in the ass. 1, because people won't buy large lots, and 2, what you're trying to resell is really not popular. So unless you have something that is popular and has that value, be prepared to take at least a 50% cut from it, because people are assholes. So once you are dedicated to collecting what you primarily like, whether it be DC, Marvel, whatever it is, find out where you can put it. Having a space for your collection is key and crucial, because if you don't have a space for it, pops just end up stacking up everywhere, and then it can drive your OCD, your anxiety, and your stress like it does for me. So that's why I dedicated one primary room for pops. Has it spanned into another room? It has. but I needed to do that for space reasons. For me personally, because I move every 3 years, because I transfer between duty stations, I was able to pick out an apartment that had a wall like this. This collection was originally supposed to go into the living room, but I decided to contain it to a room. This wall can support 820 Funko Pops easily if they're facing forward. If I ever get to the point where they're facing their sides, then we're gonna go into a little bit of a... I don't even want to get to that point. So once you found out what you want to collect and where you want to put it, find out what to put it on. There are so many YouTubers in the YouTube sphere that collect Funko Pops that everybody has something different. Top Pops uses bookshelves. Bearded Pop uses shelves that are installed like typical shelves from, you know, Home Depot or Lowe's. I don't know why I couldn't think of Home Depot or Lowe's. A lot of us use the Moslanda shelves that are behind me. There's so many different ways that you can display and collect your collection. Depending on your budget and how you want it to look is all on you. So please find a way to display your collection that you like and how you prefer to have it. It is your collection. Don't aim to be like somebody else. For me personally, I use 2 different types of shelves. They are both from IKEA and one is discontinued. I have to say this right now. One of the shelves that I use is discontinued because we discovered these shelves about 2 years into collecting when I was at a collection of about 500 Pops or so. We found these shelves and they are great. If you can find them on Craigslist or a secondhand market, I don't know where else you would be able to find them. I have a huge supply of them and refuse to get rid of them because you never know when you're going to need shelves for your collection. So the discontinued shelves, I'm going to say this right now, the discontinued shelves are from IKEA and they were called the Verserum. I don't know how to pronounce them, but these shelves were what we used in the beginning, and how you had to install these shelves in the wall was literally to flip this shelf on its side and install it upside down, which does not work very, very well for this shelf because that's not what it's designed to do. We put wall anchors and more screws in these shelves to hold Pops on the wall for this shelf. This shelf is currently installed on the lower bottom wall over here because I had no more Moslanda shelves for what I was doing in this room. So these shelves luckily fit a Pop perfectly when installed upside down. Now the shelves that I highly recommend are currently what is in stock at IKEA until they discontinue it and make a new variation of shelves. I highly recommend the Moslanda shelf entirely. This is a shorter version of the Moslanda shelf. You can get this one for $7.99 or you can get the long one for $14.99. It is a very cheap, efficient way to putting your Pops on shelves, and I love these shelves because they work. I didn't like these shelves at first because I wanted all my shelves to look the same until I realized that these shelves literally fit a Funko Pop perfectly. It's amazing, isn't it? And of course with these shelves I do not have to install them upside down. If you do install them upside down, be prepared these shelves are going to lean unless you anchor the crap out of them. Alright, so you know what to collect, what you want to collect, where you want to put it, and what you want to put it on. Now comes the hardest part I think about all the time, and that is organizing and maintaining a collection this size. Now if you're a beginner and you only have a small collection, easy to organize, you pick the way that you want to organize your Funko Pops. Me personally, I have a little bit of OCD. I can't mix Pops together. Pops have to be with their like individuals. So you won't see, you know, Beetlejuice in with Captain America. That doesn't make sense. You won't see Batman in with Loki. You won't see Loki over by Joker. You won't see these mixed together because it doesn't make sense. In my mind, it doesn't make sense. Another reason I collect by category and by number is because once you start getting to this size of collection, you need to be able to track without using a tracker. I was against Funko apps and trackers for the longest time, and now I'm slowly putting them into the Funko app because I am buying a lot of duplicates and it's costing me money. Let's be honest, it's costing me money. When I go to Hot Topic and I'm like, I don't think I have that, and I go to put it in the collection, I'm like, oh crap, I have it. So, track your Pops early in the game, protect your Pops early in the game, and keep them organized early in the game. So I know what you're thinking, I buy Pops every day. Pops are constantly coming into my house. How do you manage to keep it organized constantly? I'm going to tell you the honest truth. I don't. Normally, in this room, the room gets organized once every 6 months. Only because after about 6 months, I have anywhere from 50 to 100, maybe even sometimes 200 pops that make its way into the collection. I know, 6 months, that's a lot of pops. I know, I'm insane. Crazy. And because I normally have pops come in every other day, or I'll go shopping, I'll go to Walmart, they'll release something, I'll go to GameStop real quick and they'll have something. So there's always a new pop coming into the collection. From my experience, if I organize my collection every single time I got a new pop, I wouldn't be interested at all, because it's a chore to organize something this big. Literally, I had to take leave to get my apartment in order because this is going to take me at least 2 days to complete. So designate times in order to organize your collection. During these time frames when I'm organizing the collection, I'm taking a good look at what I have and what I don't have, and seeing what I'm missing, making mental notes of what I'm missing, writing them down, adding them to a wish list, or I'm pulling stuff out saying, I don't need you in my collection, go away. That's from my early years of collecting where I just had to have everything. So if you're in that stage of I need to have every single Funko Pop, stop, time out, reevaluate. You have a place to put them. You have shelves to put them on. You have them organized. 6 months down the road, what are you doing with the pops that come in? So because of this wall right here, I keep pointing to this wall because it's the best example. Marvel and DC are the biggest collections you will see grow over time. They are the biggest collections I think that Funko has currently that they've produced, and they're the biggest collections in my collection. I have, 800 something pops here, so split it in half. So there's more Marvel than there is DC. So they were always going to make Marvel pops and DC pops. Now, when you have multiple different collections like I do, like I have a Disney collection, I have a Walking Dead collection, I have Game of Thrones, I have Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z does not exist in this room. It exists in the studio because it is another massively growing collection because Funko can't stop making Dragon Ball Z characters. I can't get ya! Now, this is gonna sound crazy to you guys, but find the space for the collection. So if I took my DC collection and tried to put it on that wall, it wouldn't fit. It wouldn't make any sense at all. It would not fit on that wall. I wouldn't have any space to expand. On this wall, at the end, I have space to expand by at least 35 pops. I know it's not a lot, but we're getting there. I have found that when I move collections around, I actually gain and lose space depending on the collection size. When I move the Dragon Ball Z collection out, gained a lot of space because that's about 75, 90 pops. When I move these little itty bitty collections around and find a home for them, it actually creates space for bigger collections. So always play with the smaller collections. I have a wall literally on the inside of the door. There's just all my random little collections that I try to fill up as much as possible so that the big collections have the biggest spaces. That's why you see gaps like this. Like over here, aside from there being a sprinkler head right there, which by the way, sprinkler heads, avoid them because if the sprinkler head goes off when you break that mercury, bad day. But there's gaps in the collections in certain areas because certain walls contain smaller collections. When you play around with big collections versus smaller collections, I usually sacrifice smaller collections to different areas to make room for bigger collections. So keep that in mind. The bigger the collection will need a bigger space and a bigger wall. Now, as pops are consistently coming in, once this is organized, what I usually will do is literally after I organize this weekend, I'll probably buy 3 or 4 pops. It's inevitable. Well, Santa Claus came out today, and I don't know why I didn't go get him, but Santa Claus came out today, and he needs to go into the Disney collection. And once the Disney collection is reorganized, he will go close to the Disney collection. That's just how I run it. Marvel collection, I will literally just take the pop and place it in front of the collection and stand by until I reorganize the collection again. Another organizational tip is determining how you want to organize your collection. Do you want to organize it by category or by number? I'm a bit of a weirdo. So my Marvel collection is completely organized by number. My DC collection is organized by number and then by character. The reason I did this is because of the amount of Batmans DC has produced. so many Batman Pops, so many, and they just keep making more Batman Pops, and I just can't. So when I organized my DC collection this way, I literally looked at the back of the #1 Batman and organized it from that. So it goes Batman #1, Robin #2, 3, 4, and so on until it ends, and then we get into normal numbers. So all my Batmans are together, all my Robins, Jokers, Harleys, Batmans, of course I said Batman, Supermans. I organize all the characters together until you get to the individual characters that go all the way down along the line. I thought about doing this with my Marvel collection, but Marvel has more characters in production for Funko than DC does. It's too much. It was just way too much, because you literally have the entire Avengers, and then you have all the other side characters. You have the X-Men, you have all the Deadpools, because it's just so maddening when it comes to Marvel. Because I tried to do it with the Marvel collection, but literally if you compare characters and the amount of variation for each characters, too much. Way too much. And one of my last tips, which should have been a beginning tip, but you know, tips are tips, and there doesn't need to be a specific order. When you're reorganizing your collection, clean your space before reorganizing. There have been so many times where I've organized and just haven't had the space, or I've been tripping over pillows and, you know, other pops or furniture or cats. So just remember, clear your space. Start with a clean space, because then you can manage your organization better. I always make my bed. I have a table right here, a foldable table that I got at Walmart for 30 bucks that I can just place them on so that I'm not stepping on them. I have stepped on a lot of pops in my life. And that is it for this particular video, my organizational tips and tricks that you might find helpful. I have to put the disclaimer out there. I never advise anybody to have a collection this size. In short, this collection has caused me a lot of debt, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of stress. Now, I know you're going to say, Admiral, if it has all those bad negative effects, why keep collecting? It's nostalgia. I collect for nostalgia reasons. That's why I like Funko Pops, because they literally have every character that I've ever loved. And of course, I'm an introvert. I watch a lot of movies. I read a lot of books. So having a physical representation of a character is fantastic in my mind. I love them all so much. Plus, I have a lot of memories tied to these Funko Pops. I should probably start a series where I just randomly pick a Funko Pop and tell you where, why, and a story connected to it, because I have 2,000 of them, and I have a story for every single one of them. One of the final little tips that I want to give you guys comes with Pop Shield Protectors. Affiliate link in the description below. That's all I'm going to say. My Marvel collection right there is stacked 9 high, you get a shelf, and then my DC collection is stacked 8 high. How that math equated out was, there was supposed to be 9 and 9, but I would have had to shove the pop between the ceiling and another pop, and I didn't like it. And by that point, the wall was already installed, so it's uneven, but I don't care, it works that way. I display my pops in a very specific way. There's a wall on the interior of the door, which I'll show a clip of, where it's stacked like bricks. One thing, this tip that I want to have for you guys is, 1, display how you like, but 2, be concerned about the bottom layer. In my, has it been about 6 years of collecting, I've never really had any significant damage to the bottom pops of a stack. Me personally, I never have. However, when I was doing the bottom collection of the Marvel collection and what was between the carpet and the rest of the collection, I did see a little bowing start to happen. What bowing is pretty much the weight is happening to where this is starting to flex and round. It didn't damage the pops because I caught it early. So about the amount of time that I've been doing this, only about 5 or 10 pops have ever really been truly damaged for being on the bottom. So if you're gonna stack as high as I stack, I recommend putting the bottom one into a pop protector. I also recommend putting your entire collection into the pop protector. Start early with pop protectors. I made the mistake, and here I am trying to play catch up, and I can only buy about 100 pop protectors at a time, because 50, 60 bucks a month just to protect a collection is expensive, especially when you're trying to pay off all the debt from your Funko Pops. And that is it for today's video. I kind of ramble a little bit here and there, but that's me. Of course, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I really would love to do an FAQ video on organization and collecting, because I have so much information in my brain. I know I probably missed something, and I want to provide that information to you guys, experienced collectors, new collectors, people who want to collect but just aren't sure on where to start. So please ask those questions below. Again, I am Admiral Funko. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching. Stay tuned for the time lapse of me cleaning this room and organizing this room. It's gonna be great. So I can't wait. That's literally what I'm doing after I stop the record button on this video. So, yes. I'm just thinking about the amount of time I'm about to spend in this room. So I hope you guys enjoy. Comment down below, like, subscribe, support me in whatever way that you possibly can. And I will see you guys again for another 360 video or another video in general. Bye!